In the late 60s and early 70s, Aristotle Onassis entertained the jet set on his yacht. This was an occasion to introduce his trophy bride, the queen of them all, Jacqueline Kennedy. And he had guests like Liz Taylor and Richard Burton, John Wayne, Frank Sinatra, Princess Grace of Monaco. Another guest that came was Jacqueline's best friend, Bunny Mellon. And the story goes that Jacqueline pulled her aside one day and said, "Don't even pretend like you like the food." That is probably her take on Greek cooking anyway. But from the looks of the photographs, they were more interested in drinking than eating. Today I wanted to make a Greek style dish using phyllo dough, but I have to tell you, this is going to be more French than Greek. These are some brunoise of apple that I've already sauteed in butter just until it began to brown a little bit. And I have here some king trumpet mushrooms. And what I'm going to do with those is put them in a food processor to chop them up. All right, those are looking good. So they go in next with our apples. And the last item are some ground chestnuts. Those have already been roasted and ground. Now I'm going to take this back to the burner and cook it down just a little bit. Maybe I'll put a touch of apple cider in that. But before that, let's season it a little bit with salt. Not much salt. A pinch of quatre épices, which contains cinnamon, by the way, as well as white pepper and black pepper. All right, so that just needs to finish cooking to a paste. This filling has cooked and cooled, and I'm going to add just a little bit of fig jam to that. So I buttered a few little of these non-stick, supposedly non-stick, which stick, tart pans. And I'm beginning with phyllo dough that I have cut down to a smaller size. So traditionally you want 3 of those. And in between, here it is. You butter them. Next, you want to put your filling in the center, like that, a good little bit. Then I'm going to top that with a little bit of brie cheese. And then more of these phyllo dough things on top. Okay, then you want to gather it all together and pull it over, just like that. Good. You could also just take one extra and crumble it up to make it kind of like a little flower. Let's see if we can do that. There, like that. And, well, actually, I should have buttered that first. There, and then butter your little flower. Okay, that's the idea. And now this is going to go into a 325 degree oven for, as long as it takes to brown, probably 25 minutes at least, and maybe longer. Our tourte aux châtaignes is done. Very lovely brown, and I thought just a little bit of creme chantilly would be very nice with that. We'll do a half moon of creme chantilly. and perhaps just a few drops of reduced balsamic vinegar. It's really a balsamic glaze by this point. So we'll just do this. And there it is. A French take on a Greek specialty. Now let's just see how this looks once we slice it open. And there you can see, really is quite lovely. Now this would go just by itself as a course, or you could of course serve it with some kind of game like partridge or whatever. It's game season, so quail or what are those other little things that fly around? Grouse. Yes, you could do it with that. And incidentally, I forgot to say, I put a little bit of Calvados in that creme chantilly, so I'm smelling the apple. Anyway, a lovely dish.